Hey, what's up? Are you bored in the house? Or you just want to discover and learn things? Well, you came to the right video. So brace yourself and hop on as our group would take you into this wonderful world of excitement and learning. Hi, I'm Uriah Katiwalaan, and I'll be with you and would be your guide in the first step, or should we call it the introduction. In this video, you'll be taken to different categories, where you'll be able to meet friends that will help you enlighten about the topic. You will see each along the way. So, shall we begin? In this video, you'll be learning about Pictograph. Sounds so easy, doesn't it? But before learning about it, I will be the one to introduce you to the friends you'd meet who will teach you all about Pictograph. For the introduction, you've already met me. Hi again. For the description, you will meet Ashley Marilia. The definition of terms will be taught by Jaya Quizon. For the small steps and procedures, you will see Arwen Ajinar. Sample problem 1 will be introduced to you by Francis Sargado and Mitzi Soko. The second sample problem would be from Lawrence Acedo and Isaac Abiwala. Interpretations and answers on both sample problems would be explained by none other than Fiona de la Rama. And last, but not the least, conclusion and generalization thrown would be taken by none other than Marie de Latina. This video aims for the viewers to, first, be able to identify the definition of pictograph. Second, know and understand its history. Third, know the parts of the pictograph. Fourth, be able to read and interpret pictograph through its procedures. Fifth, evaluate the purpose of a pictograph. And, last but not the least, is to have the ability to create a pictograph according to the data being collected. Now, I'm passing you to the others who are waiting for you. Enjoy!
A pictograph is a representation of data using images. It is one of the simplest ways of representing data. In pictographs, we arrange the symbols in a line to show data or information. But do you know, the earliest forms of Sumerian writing were pictographs, or picture words, were the sign resembles the object it represents. At this stage, the pictographs were drawn rather than written. Enough of that, this is one of the simplest ways to represent statistical data, and reading a pictograph is made extremely easy as well. But the best way to explain a pictograph is through an example. So, let us get started.
For the definition of terms, we have data. Data. It is presented and has been collected using a pictograph. Next is pictograph. Pictograph, also known as a pictogram, and it is used in concepts like data handling. Upon doing this, let's start by looking at and recognizing the parts of a pictograph as follows. First, we have graph title. It is where we can find the question of the graph is all about, and this can be found at the top of the graph. Next is key. This can be found at the bottom of pictograph to help the reader understand the number of each picture stands for. For the last part, we have categories. Categories tells the specific type of data.
There are 5 steps in making a pictograph. So the first step is to collect data. First, we need to collect the data of the different categories that we want to represent. And after collecting the data, we need to make a list or a table. So, and the second step is to pick a symbol that you want to represent on your data. So, after reviewing the collected data and based on it, we need to pick a symbol or a picture that accurately represents the data. So you want to make different symbols. So the third step is to assign a key. Based on the frequency of the data, decide the frequency for one symbol. And this can be done by setting in the numerical value of that one symbol will represent. This key or numerical value must be written along the pictograph with the pictograph. And the fourth step is to draw the pictograph. So after doing the first, the second, and the third step, is you initially draw 2 columns that represent the categories and the data itself, and then draw the actual symbols that you chose to represent the frequencies. And these symbols can be drawn as fractions, as well if the frequency is not a whole number or based on the key. And the last step is to review your pictograph. So check the labels and review your pictograph and make sure that it is correctly representing the data.
There are 30 medtech students per block. For example, block A has 30, block B has 30, block C has 30, and block D has 30. So how many students are there all in all?
To know how many students are there in 4 blocks, we should sum it all. So there are 30 from block A, plus 30 from block B, plus 30 from block C, and 30 from block D. So how many students all in all?
So here is the answer or interpretation of sample problem number 1. So there are 30 students in a block, and there are 4 blocks in a total. So how many METEC students are there all in all? So as we can see in the table that block A to D has 30 METEC students. So to know how many students in 4 blocks, we should sum it all. So 30 from block A, 30 from block B, plus 30 from block C, plus 30 from block D is equal to 120 METEC students. Therefore, there are 120 METEC students in 4 blocks.
So, problem number 2, how many hours does a group of my friends in class BSMT 1C spend on each day? So, I have chosen 4 students. We have Christelle, we have Nairil, we have Isaac, and we have Roger. So I have given them each student an hours. So we have, for Christelle we have 6 hours, for Nairil we have 4 hours, for Isaac we have 8 hours, for Roger we have 12 hours. So each of the student, I did make a table. Under the table we can see the title. Under the title we see the scale. So the scales we're going to use is a book. So 1 book is equal to 2 hours. So we're going to solve for Christelle. How many hours does Christelle studied? So for Christelle we have 6 hours. Again, 1 book is equal to 2 hours. So how many books do we need to put on a table for Christelle? So we have 1, 2, and 3. 3 books is equal to 6 hours. For Dairel, we have 4 hours. So we're going to put how many books? Again, 1 book is equal to 2. So 1 and 2. 2 books is equal to 4 hours. We're going to put 2 books in Dairel. Next, for Isaac, we have 8 hours. So how many do we need to put in the table? We have to put 1 plus 2 hours plus 2, we have 4 hours, plus 2, we have 6 hours, and now we have 8 hours. So 4 books is equal to 8 hours. The last student we have Roger. We have 12 hours given for 12 hours. Wow. Okay, so how much book do we need to put in the table for Roger? So we have 1, we have 1, we have 2, 3, 4. 4 books is equal to 8 hours. So how many books do we need to add more? Okay, 8 plus 2, we have 10. 10 plus 2, we have 12. So 12 hours. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 books is equal to 12 hours for Roger.
Question number 1. How many books did Christelle study? Question number 2. How much books if you sum up the hours of Roger and Isaac? Question number 3. If you subtract the books of Roger from Dairil, how many would it be? Question number 4. Who has the lowest hours the student studied? Question number 6. If you add up all the books from Christelle and Roger, what is the sum of all?
And now, I will give you a minute to read the answers since it is already shown in the screen.
I'm going to sum up everything that my group mates discussed. So based on the previous discussions with my group mates, they mentioned that the pictograph is one of the methods in presenting data wherein it uses images or symbols. In relation to the history of the pictograph, it is said that it is the earliest form of Sumerian writing and is also the precursor to cuneiform writing. So in a pictograph or any other graphs, there are data that are presented and collected. As for a pictograph has 4 parts, namely the graph title, which is found at the top of the graph, the key, which is found at the bottom of the pictograph and is very helpful for the readers to understand what the number of each picture stands for, the picture and symbols, which is used to represent the amount of data collected, and lastly, the categories, which tells us the specific type of data. How can you apply a pictograph? So a pictograph can be used to make a simple data more visually interesting and engaging. You can use it to show the magnitude of an important step or visualize a fraction or percentage. And as what I've said, you can use pictograph to add visual impact to simple data.
Did you have fun learning about pictographs? Is it something that made you gain knowledge and inspired you to apply it in the future? I'm sure you did a great job taking all the information necessary, and I congratulate you for the job well done. I believe that in no time, you'd be able to do it yourself. Just don't force your mind to take it instantly. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the entire video. Once again, I am Uriah Katiwalaan, who will leave you a saying by Brian Herbert. The capacity to learn is a gift. The ability to learn is a skill. The willingness to learn is a choice. That's it. See you next time.